My name is Nora. I am 28 years old. I worked in a small office in the city. I had a simple life. I lived alone in a small flat. My family lived in another town, 2 hours away. I often called my mother every evening. She was my best friend. One morning, I woke up and tried to check my phone. It was not charging. I thought maybe I had put it wrong on the charger. I moved the cable again and again, but the phone stayed dark. I tried another plug. I tried another charger. It did not work. I felt worried. My phone was very important to me. It had all my pictures, my messages, and my family calls. I used it every day. Without my phone, I felt alone. I thought maybe the shop near my office could help me. They fixed phones before. At lunch break, I went to the shop. A man behind the counter smiled and asked, "What is the problem?" I said, "My phone will not charge." "Can you check it?" He took it and said, "You must leave it here. I will look inside. Come back tomorrow." I felt strange when I left the shop. I did not like to be without my phone. I wanted to call my mother that night, but I could not. I told myself, it is only one night. Tomorrow, I will have it back. That evening, I sat in my flat. The room felt very quiet. Usually, I talked with my mother at this time. I looked at the clock. It was past 7. She would be waiting for my call. I wanted to hear her voice. I wanted to tell her about my day, but I had no phone. I thought, she will understand. Tomorrow I will call her again. The next day after work, I went back to the shop. The man showed me my phone. He had opened it. The screen was black. He said, "It had a short circuit. It was also wet inside. Maybe water got in. To fix it will cost $200. But I have an offer. A new phone is $300. I stared at the broken phone. I remembered I once used it in the bathroom while taking a bath. Maybe water touched it then. My heart felt heavy. I had to choose. I needed a phone. I did not want to pay so much to fix the old one. I said, "I will take the new phone." The man gave me a new phone. I paid with my card. My hands were shaking. I could not wait to set it up. I walked home quickly. When I arrived, I sat on the sofa and turned it on. The phone asked me to log in. It wanted my account. I typed slowly. I felt nervous. I wanted to see my mother's name appear on the screen. I wanted to read her messages. After a few minutes, my phone was ready. I opened the message app. Then I froze. There were 3 missed calls. They were from my mother. They came last night. The time was around 7. I felt cold. My mother had called me. She had needed me. But my phone was broken. I had not seen it. I had not answered. I pressed call right away. I held the phone to my ear. It rang once, twice. Then someone picked up. But it was not my mother. It was my father. His voice was quiet. He said, "Nora, where were you last night? Your mother was calling you again and again." I felt sick. I said, "I am sorry. My phone broke. I left it at the shop. What happened?" There was silence. Then he said, "Your mother was not well. She could not breathe. We took her to the hospital. She is there now." I could not believe it. I wanted to cry. I said, "Is she okay? Can I talk to her?" My father said, "She is sleeping now. The doctor gave her medicine. She wanted to speak to you, but you did not answer." I sat in my flat with the phone in my hand. Tears filled my eyes. My mother had needed me. She had called again and again. I had not been there. I had not answered. I felt guilt cover me like a heavy blanket. That night, I did not sleep. I thought of my mother alone in the hospital bed. I thought of her trying to call me. I thought of her waiting for me to pick up. My heart was full of pain. I whispered to myself, why did it have to break at that time? Why yesterday? Why not later? Why now? The next morning, I took the first train to my hometown. The journey was 2 hours, but it felt like forever. I looked out of the window and cried quietly. People on the train looked at me, but I did not care. I just wanted to see my mother. When I reached the hospital, I ran to the room number my father had given me. I opened the door slowly. My mother was lying in bed. She looked weak, but she smiled when she saw me. My father sat by her side. I went close to her and held her hand. I said, "I am sorry, Mom. I did not answer your call. My phone was broken. I should have been here." My mother touched my hand softly. She said in a weak voice, "It's okay, Nora. You are here now." But it did not feel okay to me. It did not feel right. I felt like I had failed her. I wanted to take back time. I wanted to hear her voice on the phone the night before, but I could not change it. I stayed with her all day. I helped her drink water. I helped her sit up. The doctor said she had a heart problem. She needed rest and care. My father looked tired too. He had stayed with her all night. When evening came, my father told me to go home and rest. But I did not want to leave. I wanted to sit next to her bed. I wanted to make sure she was breathing. I wanted to be near if she called my name. Before I continue my story, please subscribe, share, and tell me where you are listening from. Your support means a lot to me. Now let's continue. I sat next to my mother in the hospital room. The lights were soft and the air smelled of medicine. I held her hand and I did not let go. She looked at me with tired eyes. I wanted to smile, but my heart was heavy. When she closed her eyes to sleep, I sat still. I listened to the sound of the machines. I thought about her missed calls. I thought about my broken phone. The guilt stayed inside me. I could not forget it. The nurse came into the room. She checked my mother's blood pressure. She looked at me and said, "She is weak, but she will be okay if she rests." I felt a little better, but the pain in my chest did not go away. I stayed in the hospital all night. I could not sleep. I watched my mother's face. Every small breath she took made me worry less. But when she coughed, I felt afraid again. I prayed inside my heart, "Please let her get well. Please let her stay with me." In the morning, my father came with tea and bread. He said, "Nora, you must eat. You need strength." I took the bread but did not taste it. My eyes stayed on my mother. My father sighed. He was also tired. He said, "She will get better. Do not punish yourself too much." I looked at him and whispered, "She needed me last night. She called me." I did not answer. My father put his hand on my shoulder. He said, "You did not know. It was not your fault." But in my heart, I still blamed myself. Later that day, my mother woke up again. Her voice was low. She asked, "Why are you here? Don't you have work?" I said, "I don't care about work. I only care about you." She gave me a small smile. I wanted to tell her everything. How I felt lost without her calls. How empty my flat felt. How guilty I was. But I did not want to make her sad. So I just held her hand and said, "I love you, Mom." She whispered, "I love you too." The doctor came in during the afternoon. He said my mother must stay in the hospital for some days. He said she must not worry or get tired. My father and I both nodded. We promised to take care of her. I decided to stay in town until she was better. I called my office and told them I needed some days off. They understood. I felt relief. I wanted to spend all my time near my mother. The next days were slow but full of care. I brought her food. I helped her sit up. I brushed her hair. I told her small stories from my work so she would not feel lonely. She listened and smiled. Sometimes she laughed a little. but her laugh was weak. Every night when she slept, I thought about the call I never got. I thought about how one broken phone had stopped me from being there when she needed me. I could not forgive myself. I told myself again and again, next time, I will never let this happen. I will always answer. On the fourth day, my mother was a little stronger. She could walk slowly with help. The doctor said she was getting better. My father was happy. He said, "See? She is strong, just like you." I smiled, but deep down I still carried guilt. That evening when I was alone with her, I sat close and whispered, "Mom, can I tell you something?" She looked at me and nodded. I said, "When I saw the missed calls, I felt broken. I felt like I failed you. I will never forget it." She looked at me softly and said, "Nora, you did not fail me. You came as soon as you could. You are here now. That is what matters." Her words were kind, but they did not take away my guilt. I said, "I wish I had been there the night you called. I wish I had answered." She squeezed my hand weakly. She said, "We cannot change the past. We can only love in the present." Her words stayed with me. They were simple, but they touched me. I thought about them again and again that night. Maybe she was right. Maybe I could not go back. Maybe all I could do was be with her now. Still, I feared the future. I thought, what if one day she calls again and I do not answer? What if I lose her without saying goodbye? These thoughts made me cry in silence while she slept. The next morning, my mother asked for her phone. She wanted to call my aunt. I gave it to her. She spoke slowly, but her voice was warm. She told my aunt she was better. When she ended the call, she gave me a small look and said, "See? Phones are useful, but they are not life. Do not let one broken phone break your heart." Her words surprised me. I felt a small light inside. Maybe I was holding too much guilt. Maybe I was letting the phone story control me. I nodded and kissed her hand. I said, "I will try, Mom." On the 6th day, the doctor said she could leave the hospital. My father and I were happy. We helped her walk outside. She breathed the fresh air and smiled. I felt like the world was brighter. We took her home. I stayed in my old room. I wanted to help her for a few more days before I returned to the city. I cooked soup for her. I washed the clothes. I cleaned the house. My father thanked me, but I said, "I want to do this. It is nothing compared to what she has done for me." Every evening when she rested, I looked at my phone. I kept thinking about those 3 missed calls. I felt they would never leave my mind. They were part of me now. But slowly, as the days passed, I began to see something. My mother was healing. She was alive. She was still with me. I could still hear her voice. I could still hug her. Maybe I had missed one call, but I had not lost her. One evening, while I was helping her with tea, she said, "Nora, I know you feel guilty, but guilt will not help you. What will help me is your smile. I want to see you happy." Her words touched me again. I realized I was hurting myself by holding on to guilt. I needed to forgive myself, just like she had already forgiven me. That night, I looked out of the window. The sky was full of stars. I whispered to myself, I will not let one broken phone control my heart. I will love her every day I still have with her. The days at home with my mother passed slowly. Each morning, I helped her sit in the garden. She liked to feel the sun on her face. She looked weak, but her eyes were still warm. My father sat with us too, and we spoke about simple things. I felt safe when I was close to them. At night, when I lay in my old bed, the same thought always came back to me. The missed calls. The 3 calls I never answered. I asked myself again and again, what if it had been worse? What if she had left me that night? I would never have said goodbye. The thought scared me. One evening, when my father went to the shop, I sat with my mother alone. I wanted to be honest. I said, "Mom, I cannot stop thinking about that night. I cannot forgive myself. You called me, and I was not there." She looked at me for a long time. Then she spoke slowly. "Nora, my dear, you are here now. You came to me when I needed you. You have cared for me all these days. Why do you hold on to something you cannot change?" I felt tears in my eyes. I said, "Because I love you. I am afraid to lose you." She reached for my hand. Her hand was soft, but cold. She said, "One day, we all must go. But love does not stop. Love stays, even when a phone is broken, even when a call is missed. Love is still here." Her words went deep into me. I understood them, but it was hard to accept. I cried softly. She pulled me closer, and I rested my head near her shoulder. For the first time, I felt a little lighter. The next day, I decided to do something different. I asked my mother, "What do you want to do today?" She smiled and said, "I want to see the river." She always loved the river near our town, so we went together. My father helped her walk slowly. We sat on a bench near the water. The air was fresh. The sound of the water was soft. My mother looked at the river with calm eyes. She said, "When I was young, I came here with my friends. I always felt peace here. Now I feel it again." I looked at her face. It was thin, but her smile was true. I told myself, this is what matters. This moment, not the missed calls, not the broken phone. This time with her is real. In the evening, we ate dinner together. My father made soup. We laughed about old memories. My mother told a story about when I was a child. She said, "Nora was always asking questions. She never stopped talking." We all laughed. For a short time, the sadness was gone. That night, when I went to my room, I thought about her words again. Love stays. I realized she was right. My fear of losing her made me hold on to guilt. But love was stronger than one night, stronger than one call. A week later, I had to return to the city. My office called me back. I felt sad to leave, but my mother was stronger now. The doctor said she was healing well. I kissed her hand and said, "I will call you every day." She smiled and said, "I know you will." When I returned to my flat, everything felt quiet again. But this time, I did not feel empty. I knew my mother was still with me, and I could call her. That evening I called her, and when she picked up, her voice was soft but warm. She said, "Nora, I was waiting for you." I smiled through my tears. I said, "I will never miss your call again." She laughed gently and said, "Even if you do, I will still love you." From that day, I kept my promise. I called her every evening. Sometimes the talks were short, sometimes long, but each call was special to me. I never took them for granted again. Months passed, and my mother grew stronger. She could walk more. She could cook small meals again. My father told me she laughed more often. I felt peace in my heart. But the memory of the missed calls never left me fully. It stayed like a scar. It reminded me of something important. Life is short. Time is fragile. We cannot control everything. Phones can break. Plans can fail. But love must always come first. One Sunday evening, as I sat with my new phone in my hand, I opened the gallery. I saw pictures of my mother smiling by the river. I touched the screen softly and whispered, "This is what I will keep. Not the guilt. The love." I realized then that the story of the broken phone was not just about loss. It was about learning. It taught me that one missed call can hurt, but one real moment together can heal. From that day, I promised myself 3 things. First, to never let small things stop me from love. Second, to give more time to the people who matter. And third, to forgive myself when life goes wrong, because love is stronger than mistakes. Now, when I look back, I still feel pain about that night. But I also feel thankful. Thankful that my mother is still here. Thankful that I learned to love her more deeply. And thankful that one broken phone showed me what really matters in life. Because in the end, it was not about the call I never got. It was about the love I still have. And that love will stay with me forever. Thank you for listening to my story. If this story touched your heart, please like and share. Subscribe to English Medium Stories for more emotional life stories. And never forget, every call, every moment with loved ones is precious.